We are back, baby. It's your
Uh,
boys, Boris, the Serbian prince, and Adamo, the balding gremlin.
What's up, everybody? What are we doing today, Adamo?
We're back. We're back live, but not really. We're back pre-recorded.
Yes, with another spicy episode.
Yeah, yeah. This one's a spicy one. This is like this is some cayenne pepper stuff right here.
Yeah,
If you think that's spicy, if not, then whatever you think is spicy, that's what this episode is.
maybe like the curriest of red curries. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. That's what this episode is right now. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Um, so Boris, what are we? What's our topic here? What's going on?
So basically, one of our clients, listeners, fans, good dudes, allowed us to use his application, his online application to a fire department as a learning moment. So essentially, we're going to go through his application. We're going to go through every question this fire department asked for, and we're going to shit on all his answers, basically.
All of the bad ones.
Yeah,
All of
yeah.
the bad ones. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, buddy, for letting us use it. Just because he's going through a process, we're not going to name names. We're going to kind of remove everything that's uh telling of who he is and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we really appreciate you letting us use your application to help other people out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks very much, man. In doing so, like this is going to help out a lot of other people too. And the fact that you're willing to do that, I think just shows how good of a person you are. And, I think you're going to make a great firefighter. This is an individual who is very serious about getting on the job and wants to do everything they can. I would say one of our better clients that we've had for sure, as far as when it comes to taking this seriously and really wanting this job. So shout out to you, bro. You're doing a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to critique your answers here within this application. And yeah, it's going to be a learning podcast for all you other applicants as well.
Yeah, this is one of our, like Adamo said, really strong candidates. He's a unlimited client. So as some of you might know, we don't sell the unlimited package per se. We kind of take applications for it because basically we're with you from beginning to end. And if that takes 5 years, we're with you for 5 years trying to get you on.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, basically, our the guy here, he sent us his application to one of the fire departments he's applying to. And this is one of the very first impressions you're going to make with a fire department, right? It's your application, which is mostly now online, and your resume. So if you can make a good impression off the bat there, you're going to be a lot better going into this process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So why don't we just dive right into it, Boris? Why don't I read the first question, and do you want to go over his answer, and we'll kind of both chime into what we think?
Yeah, sounds good, buddy. There's 10 questions, 10 answers. We'll try to make this as painless as educational as possible.
Yeah. So the first question, describe your school, work, volunteer, travel, and/or life experience where you gained insight or built relationships with people from diverse cultural backgrounds.
Right. So here's the answer that our guy made here. Throughout my life, I've had many opportunities to learn about diverse cultural backgrounds. During my time at blank university, I was exposed to a diverse range of people through various social gatherings, group projects, school events, sports teams. These sports teams include the blank rowing team, where I met a wide range of people, as our team was a club team. Therefore, everyone was encouraged to join. Here, I met a group of international students and formed long term friendships. We also always actively sought diversity and inclusion on our team. It kind of goes on like that. Then another thing that is kind of telling here, these travels include Greece, Scotland, Ireland, and the United States. These experiences allowed me to make friends and see places that I never thought possible, so on and so on. So, first of all, very vague, I would say, right?
Yeah, I agree.
You know, First of all, a lot of these online applications. So this is, mind you, a real application form from one of the municipal departments here. They will have a character limit. right? As to how much you're going to be able to write. So let's just say the character limit is 3,000 characters. So every letter is a character, right? Including spaces. You essentially should be trying to meet that character limit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree too, Boris. Like it's because the more detail that you provide, the more sustenance there is to your answer, the more they're gonna feel like they're getting to know you, and the more that you're gonna be able to demonstrate what they're kind of looking for within that answer. Um, so yeah, no, I fully agree. Like you want to try and use up as much of that space as possible and go into as much detail as possible. Again, we've talked about this before about painting that picture, right? Um, you know that in this answer you or sorry in this question you've met that, right? But if you don't explain it in detail so that way you can paint that picture for that recruiting team, they don't know.
Totally. And 3,000 characters may seem like a lot, but in reality, it really isn't. And you should not be, by under any circumstances, trying to fill those 3,000 characters with just bullshit, for
Yeah,
lack of a better word, right? Because the recruiters will see through it. They'll be like, this person's making me read 3,000 characters of nothing.
yeah,
And it's not going to go well. If you actually use sustenance, like you said, Adamo, paint that picture. 3,000 characters is not that hard. And unfortunately, with this answer, you're not really painting a picture. You know, when you say stuff like, I've had many opportunities to learn about diverse cultural backgrounds, and then you don't go into what you've learned about them,
yeah,
you're not painting a picture. Maybe diverse means something else to you than it does to the recruit department,
yep,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's fairly vague, right? And you said the same thing, right? You need to go into a bit more detail about what you've learned about these cultures. What are you talking about when you say a diverse range of people, right? Um, are you talking about you've made friends with a bunch of vegans, or you know what I mean? Because that's technically, in a sense, a diverse group of people, right?
Yeah.
You kind of need to go into more detail uh, within that answer.
Totally, because the fire service is very diverse. You're spending, 12 hours, 24, 36, whatever, with a group of people. You're going to have to live together and you're all going to be different in some way. And the recruiting team needs to know that you are able to work and live with people of different backgrounds. Now, what that background is something that you have to show. Like you said, Adamo, veganism is one thing. So nutritional backgrounds, maybe somebody is allergic to peanuts, so you can't cook with peanuts, right?
Hmm.
Because you cook at the fire hall potentially. Maybe it's religion, maybe it's working out and having different, physical capabilities and being different that way.
Yeah,
This our
different ethnicities. It's different cultures. There's so many
there's so much.
variations to a question like this.
Totally. You mentioned the rowing team. Well, I guarantee you not everyone on that rowing team had the same exact physical capabilities. There was diverse. Somebody was stronger in one way, another person was stronger another way, right?
Yeah,
You have to work together to make those things happen. And when you're talking about traveling and stuff, that's great, but what about these cultures is actually diverse? Like, what did you actually learn? Our guy here wrote he traveled to Scotland, Ireland, and the United States. Well, those aren't, yeah, they're diverse, but like realistically, those three countries speak the same language, have the same religion, and are fairly similar in their Anglo-Saxon culture. You
yeah,
know, uh, that's like me saying, "Oh yeah, I speak four languages. I speak Serbian, Bosnian, Montenegrin, and Croatian." It's like, well, it's the same language. Like you're not actually explaining the diversity between those four potential cultures,
for sure.
right?
And that's where like when this individual talks about their travel to Greece, that's where I would probably add in more detail about some stuff that they learned about the culture and that kind of stuff, because the culture in Greece is a lot different than the culture is here. So that's an opportunity for this individual to add in more detail about a truly diverse culture than what we're typically used to here in North America.
Totally. Greece has been around one of the oldest countries in the world. Like you're definitely going to be able to find something in there that you found interesting and different than your own.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's something you guys can look into here for this one. It's no secret that nowadays fire departments are looking at different cultures, different backgrounds. Not everyone's the same anymore on the fire departments. Different diets, like we said, different physical capabilities. Now it's men and women working together, whereas before was a lot more male dominated. All these things you have to take into account when you're answering these questions. And you can see how it's very easy to fill in 3,000, 4,000 characters, whatever these online applications may ask for. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like once you realize where you need to add in those details and the amount of detail that you need to add, like this individual can definitely add in way more detail, even just based off of their travel to Greece, right?
Totally.
Um, and so, yeah, I mean that 3,000 character, it seems a bit daunting, but the reality is, once you kind of get to typing and bring up those experiences, you can really meet that threshold.
Yeah. Like I just punched in this paragraph into Google, and it says it has 1,580 characters. So like you're halfway there with a fairly bland answer.
Yeah,
Right. So 3,000, 4,000, whatever it may be, is not actually that bad. You can definitely do it.
yeah, I agree for sure. Anything else on that one question that you want to cover there, Boris?
No, I'm good for the next one, buddy.
Okay, so question number two: highlight activities that demonstrate your ability to work cooperatively with others to achieve a common goal. Example: work teams, sports teams, community organizations, and school projects.
Right. So the answer we have from our guy here is I've worked on many different teams throughout my life. I've been a part of a rowing team, both as a member and as a vice president. This experience taught me a lot about what it's like to work together, to be in sync, to row the boat, as everyone had to be moving together. I've also been part of a mixed martial arts academy for many years where I sparred and wrestled with others. I've also been a part of many professional teams. These teams were formed during my time as a landscaper, line painter, front end driver. So they're a little bit more on the nose here. Like it's a little bit better with this answer because they're understanding that team isn't just like a sports team, right?
Yeah,
You are part of a team when you're at work. You're part of a team when you're doing volunteer events. But this is still very much a small answer. And I think this is actually a little bit of an edited answer than what the individual had on before, because obviously we consulted with them and they added some things, still work, room for improvement. But yeah, your 1001s, your EMT or your EMR, whatever your firefighting classes are, that's part of being a team as well.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. And like you said, Boris, like this answer is definitely a lot better, where this individual recognizes the fact that being on a team isn't just the rowing team that they're a part of, right? They talk about their mixed martial arts team. They talk about, their time landscaping, their time, running front end loaders, right? This is, I would say, it's definitely a more well-rounded um, answer into what the definition of a team is to this individual.
Yeah. They just need to go a little bit more into detail again. I think that's basically all we have to say for that one. What do you think?
Yeah, 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 I agree. Um, so moving on to the next one. So describe your experience using mechanical systems, tools, equipment, and apparatus. So example would be pumps, valves, sprinkler systems, repairing slash using small motor tools and equipment repairs.
Yeah. So one thing, guys, when you're going through these applications, like a lot of these examples that the applications give you, that's kind of a clue what they're looking for, right? When they say example, pumps, valves, sprinkler systems, like they're kind of giving you exactly what they're looking for in your answer, right?
Yeah,
Again, like if you don't have sprinkler system knowledge, and don't obviously put sprinkler system knowledge in your answer, but like you can understand the genre of mechanical systems they're looking for in your answer, right?
yeah, yeah. No, I fully agree. So yeah, with this answer, like that he used, again, it really comes down to like a detail, adding more detail in. Um,
Yeah, there's parts in here. Several of my past experiences have taught me how to be familiar with mechanical systems. particularly my experience as a landscaper, front end driver, and line painter. The landscaping job taught me the anatomy and maintenance of small power tool equipment. Okay, cool. But like what small power tool equipment, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's 4-stroke, 2-stroke, chainsaws, sawzalls, you know, there's tons of small power tools that you could be talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe what's small to you is not small to the fire department,
Yeah.
right? Uh, there's tons of things you can talk about. You know, front end driver job requires that I operate this heavy machinery. Well, how? How do you operate it? Is it manual? Is it automatic? Do you have to know, you know, are you driving in rain, shine,
Yeah.
snow?
Are you having to do, pre-trips on it where you have to check the oil levels and all that kind of stuff, right? It's gonna show that you have a better understanding when it comes to the mechanical capabilities that's required of you on this job.
That's a very good point, Demo. It's not just operating the tools, it's knowing how to maintain them, how to check them, how to utilize them safely. You have to put all of that into your answer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Do you have anything else to add on this one, Boris?
No, I think we're moving through this on a pretty good pace on that.
Yeah. So the next one, highlight activities that demonstrate your knowledge and ability in building construction. So example, materials, methods, inspection, maintenance, design, and/or construction of buildings, electrical, plumbing, carpentry, finishing, roofing, reading blueprints, charts, diagrams, so on, so on.
So again, like they give you basically, it's a gimme. They tell you what kind of they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And one of the examples that they gave in that question was maintenance, what you just described,
Yeah.
right? So make sure you are an inspection, right? Inspection and maintenance. So make sure you are putting that in your answer. Like here we have as an answer, through my experience as a laborer in the blank city traffic department and as a line painter, I've learned the skills of laying out measurements provided by blueprints, marking freshly paved roads, and installing various traffic control symbols. Well, how did you install them? What was your inspection before you installed it? How do you know you're done installing it?
Yeah.
Right? What building materials did you use for that? You know, if you're putting in a road sign, were you using any kind of cement? Were you using any kind of, you know, trench digging, hole digging tools? Details, right?
I mean, I think like it's that, and Boris, I think you'd probably agree with me. It's really the details is what it comes down to. With majority of applications that we see that people want us to proofread for them, it's just missing those details. Like when this individual talks about diagrams from city authorities and private companies and turn these drawings into real world results. Okay, how? Right? What kind of blueprints and diagrams were they? What were you like? How were you able to turn them into real world results? Right? You just got to add in that detail.
Yeah, totally. Are you reading these designs on a computer? Are you using some type of software that you have skills with? Right?
Yeah.
Are you using a printer to get these designs out? What kind of printer are you using? So again, skills like computer skills is something you will use in the fire department. You know, you're writing reports, you're printing out lesson plans, whatever. So
Yep.
show that you're proficient in these things, and you'll just look much better as a candidate as well. Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's kind of all I have on that one.
Yeah.
So next one, describe your experience that indicates your ability to drive emergency vehicles safely, large and or recreational vehicles in various types of traffic and weather conditions.
Right. So our individual here wrote, I'm actively working as a front end driver in the disposal industry. This role has taught me how to drive large tandem axle vehicles all over blank area in very tight spaces, such as between two rows of cars, single lane corners. So like this is a little bit better, right? This is going into a
Yep.
little bit more detail. This role has also taught me the ability to drive in all weather conditions, such as heavy rain and ice, while also keeping in mind importance of maintaining safe driving behaviors, despite high levels of stress and in sticky situations. Like, what do you mean sticky situations? You know,
Yeah.
like what does that mean? Are you like getting Cheetos and Slurpees all over your seat? Like what? You know, like they don't know you.
Yeah.
So thanks again for letting us use it and crap on it. Appreciate it, buddy. But yeah, like we need to work on some of this a little more, right? You can't really have that in your answer and expect the recruiting panel to know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I fully agree with you there.
And it says
Um,
washing. We also wash and maintain these vehicles. That was the last answer in that question. Like again, like how are you maintaining them? Are you checking the oils, checking the transmission? Are you checking the tire pressure? Well, are you checking it? Like if you are checking the tire pressure, what are you using? Are you using a tire pressure gauge? Are you reading the PSI? What is the PSI that needs to be? Is there a legal authority that comes by and checks to make sure that your vehicles are maintained?
yeah.
There's so many different things you can put in here, and it's just not an adequate answer. You got to think like you're going up against potentially 1,000 other applicants. And, if one of them has that 3,000 characters in that answer and you have 500, well, who do you think looks like a better candidate?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and right, like, and it's also in doing so, right, adding in that detail, the panel's gonna the panel or recruitment team is gonna get a much better understanding of your capabilities, like we said earlier, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I'm good on that one if you are.
Yep. Okay, so the next question: describe your hands-on experience, if any. Example: first aid attendant, auxiliary, Coast Guard, CPR, nursing, paramedic, rescue procedures, lifeguard, search and rescue.
Right. So our guy wrote an answer. I have some experience as a first aid attendant working at blank, which has been limited to surface level injuries, as well as dealing with alcohol poisoning. Okay, well, what are surface level injuries and how did you deal with alcohol poisoning? Right? What
Yeah.
medical tools did you use? Uh, then he continues on. In addition to this, my experience working with blank has brought me opportunities of learning to respond to high risk activities such as drag racing. These activities come with a high likelihood of crashes and motor vehicle accidents. Um, Again, Adamo, you're a motor vehicle accident specialist there, heavy rescue tech. Like, what, you're going to
Yeah.
show up with a bunch of band-aids to this high crash, drag
Yeah.
racing crash? Like, what tools are you using?
Yeah. What tools are you using? What first aid equipment do you have on hand that you are proficient in? Yeah, like there's so much opportunity here to just go into that, to go into more detail about what they're doing in that specific role. And they're kind of they're, I don't want to say that this individual is dropping the ball in that because this is obviously new to them, but there's there's an opportunity for them to make their application just stand out so much more, right?
Totally. And, we're very far from putting this application in, so we're going to get it there. But it goes to show that, we just read the entire answer, which was, roughly 200 characters, right? Out of potential 3,000.
Yeah,
So, yeah, absolutely. You need to be more competitive. You need to do better. And we'll hopefully you guys can get there with it.
yeah,
Yeah, I like the next question the
yeah,
most. I take it down.
yeah. I do too. So in point form, describe your current fitness regime. And this individual put weight training 5 days a week, running 3 days a week. That's it.
That's it. That's it, guys. That's the entire answer. So obviously we gave him some flack over this. Uh, why is that, Adamo? Do you want to tell them why we gave him shit?
Yeah. So like when you're saying you're weight training 5 days a week, like they don't know what you're doing. Like, are you going into the gym for 10 minutes and lifting some dumbbells and that's it? You're running 3 days a week. Are you just running 2 blocks 3 days a week and that's good enough? Like they have basically zero info on what your actual fitness regime is, and it's going to be hard for them to fully understand your physical capabilities and what your fitness level is based off of this answer.
Mhm. And they do use the term fitness, right? They didn't say physical activity per se. So, like, what else do you do to stay fit? Do you have any mental health, uh, regimens that you use? Do you,
Yeah, do you
do,
incorporate breath work into into your daily routine, for your mental fitness as well, right? Like what other stuff are you doing, right? And then like weight training 5 days a week, it's like you got to put like your actual what you're actually doing. Day one, this is what I do. This many sets, this many reps of this exercise, and list them all out. Running 3 days a week. I wake up, before work 3 times a week in the morning and run 5 kilometers each time at a pace of this, and it takes me this long to run this many kilometers, right? You got to add in those details. Like it's so vague, right?
Totally. Are you
And
mountain running? Are you running on asphalt? Are you running on a trail? Are you hydrating after your run? Are you taking like enough breaks in between the days that you run? Are you doing any marathons? Right?
yeah,
Are you training for something with these runs? Like there's just so much more you can add.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that one there, I would say out of all of them, that one there obviously needs the most detail added.
Yeah, and it's huge because fire departments do like fitness is huge. We keep saying it all the time. They are going to be looking at this and scrutinizing it. Like, is this really all that you wrote? Is that all that you really do for your fitness? Right?
Yeah,
You have to give them more. They don't know you. It's a first impression. Give them everything. And if you don't have everything, or sorry, if you don't have more, well, this is your time to start, right? And be honest. Be like, I realized that my fitness wasn't, I didn't really have a best fitness regime. So as of seeing this application, I've started doing this.
yeah,
Like I have way more respect for a candidate if they're honest and they say something like that, uh, than somebody who just puts in crap that or just leaves it mostly blank, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I actually recently heard a story, and I don't know who this individual is, but it's from a local department here where the first time going through um, the um, the process with that department, they failed the physical, right? So now they're in the second time of going through and they're at their interview. And I think they were asked a question along the lines of, what is one of the biggest letdowns or, that you've had or what's one of the biggest mistakes you feel you've made or something like that. And that individual said, um, failing this process last time. And this is what I've done to change it. And they completely changed their whole regime, fitness regime, took it so much more serious. And apparently they broke the record for the quickest time finishing the combat challenge
Nice.
this go around. So, um,
And they loved
yeah,
it. They probably
they,
just loved
oh,
it.
absolutely. They ate it up for sure. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not whether you fail or not. It's just how you come back from that, right? That's the big
Exactly.
thing with the fire service. Okay. Moving on. What do you
Yep.
think?
Moving on. So next one, describe life and or work experience that demonstrate your ability to function under physical pressure and or physically demanding situations.
Right. So our answer here, again, very short. I used to work as a landscaper where I used to have to cut grass in full head to toe PPE in extremely hot temperatures, both in the sun and in the rain for several hours at once. I also used to have to push a heavy cart full of hot tar on the roads while having to place reflectors on the road. My current work requires me to maneuver heavy garbage bins weighing so and so kilos. I also enjoy trail running and I recently completed my first 10K. This experience taught me this and this. Uh, yeah, again, way too short, not a lot of detail, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So just you got to add in more detail. Like, I know we keep saying it, but it's true. Like we really want to get this through to people that one of the biggest mistakes you're going to make on your application is lack of detail in what you're doing, right? They don't know, right? Like going back to like the last question, right? Like we said, like weight training 5 days a week. Well, what does that mean? Right?
Yeah.
They don't know. You really got to add in that detail so that way they fully understand um, what you're doing, right?
Yeah. And it also gives them a glimpse into your knowledge of different things. So, like when it says here, I used to have to cut grass in full head to toe PPE. Well, that doesn't really say much. Like, say what kind of PPE. Well, I had to wear safety glasses. Okay, great. We have safety glasses on fire trucks. So now they know that you're proficient with that piece of PPE, right?
Yeah, steel-toed boots, coveralls, safety vest, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever
So it's
the
like
PPE might be.
totally. So now they're like, okay, well, we have steel toe boots in the fire service. Great. We have, like you said, reflective vests. Perfect. What are those for? Well, that's to, ensure that we're safe on the roads and traffic. Perfect. We go to car crashes all the time where we got to ensure that we're safe on the road.
Yeah,
Right. So by adding all these details, you're actually showing the fire recruitment team that you have proficiency in the tools that you are going to eventually use in the fire service. And
exactly.
yeah. Okay. Beating a dead horse here, just absolutely pummeling it. Just
Yeah,
two more questions, and then we'll let you guys go.
yeah. Next one. Firefighters need to be mentally resilient. What obstacles, failures, distress, hurdles, or challenges have you faced? How did you handle the situation?
Right. And our guy here spoke from the heart, but it's kind of funny and it's not the best answer. So I'm just gonna go
Yeah,
with it. I agree that firefighters need to be mentally resilient. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you
that's
were
good. Yeah.
in university. I struggled to learn the materials in one of my statistic courses. At this point, I was failing behind in the class. My grade was sitting at a D. I reached out to the professor, asked for the recommendation, and he offered to tutor me in basics for an hour. After this hour, I had a much deeper understanding of the material and hired a tutor. Okay, so I was able to preserve, blah, blah, blah. Okay, get it to a B plus. This experience has taught me to, despite the one that has taught me that despite where one might start or what their setbacks might be, that almost anything is possible with dedication, work ethic. That's great. But that's again, 300 characters, and that's one obstacle
Yeah,
and failure, right?
yeah,
There's no way that, let's say that you're even like a 19-year-old applying, that you're very young, 18, 19, applying to the fire service. There's no way you only have one obstacle or failure in your life that you
yeah.
faced, you know?
Yeah, and I think they're kind of looking for something that's a bit more, um, a
Mature.
bit, yeah, as opposed to just sitting at a D in one of your courses, right? They
Yeah,
really want to know like what like I mean, like sure, like that kind of sucks, but like how mentally taxing was that really, right? As opposed to maybe some other situations that this individual has gone through in life and came out, better from on the other side, right?
totally. I mean, you sit on the D all the time and you don't really talk about it much, so,
I told you not to tell anyone that.
so we'll lock this episode behind a paywall or something so nobody will but yeah, you're totally right, man. Like, even right now, down like we've gone through, failures and difficulties in our life, even with our kids were born in the last like 2-3 months, right?
Yeah,
So much has happened, and like you're totally okay to talk about personal failures and trials and tribulations you've gone through. That's like you said, that's what they want to see in your
yeah,
application. They want to get to know you a bit better. So give them that chance. Don't just talk about, a grade you had in school because it doesn't really tell them much. um yeah,
yeah,
it's just not enough. Bottom line, not enough. Not enough to stand out, not enough to be a better applicant than somebody else.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Next question. Other knowledge, skills, abilities, accomplishments, and personal qualities.
Right.
This
So
one's really short.
yeah, so this is two sentences, so we'll have to, obviously lots of room for improvement. This question is very open-ended. It's the last question that this application is asking for, so it's your time to shine. Like, this is very open-ended for you to get to that 3,000 characters,
Yeah,
right? Our guy wrote here, I currently possess a pleasure craft operator license, which allows me to pilot small watercraft. Use this temporarily as a substitute rowing instructor. I've won an indoor rowing competition and placed first in my division. I'm very passionate about weightlifting and trail running and just completed my first trail 10K. I'm training for my first half marathon. That's three sentences.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and like you said, Boris, this is a pretty open-ended question. Like you can go into a lot of detail about a lot of your other accomplishments and personal qualities. Like there wasn't really much in here about any personal qualities.
No. And the very first two words of that question, other knowledge. That is so open ended. Literally anything, dude. You could talk about something you learned today about, an ant farm that you saw on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be anything, literally anything. Like, I just learned that, I have a piece of corn in my fridge that's been sitting there that hasn't been cleaned. Like,
I'd maybe not do that one.
yeah, but like, it's just like it's so open ended. Like,
Yeah.
you can literally do anything here. Other knowledge. Well, I just learned that the power outage here at my house short circuited the fridge. This is a true story, by the way. This happened, 3 days ago. I tried to change a compressor part and realized that that's not the issue because it wasn't burnt out. So the part that I actually have to replace is a much more intricate part, which is not worth the trouble. So I've decided to get a new fridge and also get a surge protector for my outlet so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
This
And then
this
like right there, you're within that answer, you're demonstrating like, your ability to troubleshoot, your ability to try to understand mechanical systems, your ability to take matters into your own hands.
totally. And like I said, this is a true story. This just happened with my fridge. We had a short circuit here and I had to figure that out. And you could make that, like, that would qualify, like you said, it down, which shows you you're troubleshooting, you have some sort of mechanical knowledge, even though it ends up in a failure in the end, but like you're still learning something from it.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, honestly, this is so open-ended. You should, like, if a recruiter is looking at this and you have 3 sentences, they're probably like, what the hell, buddy?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so that was the last question on this application. Once again, to the individual, thank you for allowing us to create a podcast episode out of this, so we're able to help others as well.
And absolutely trash you in the entire 40 minutes
Yeah,
or whatever this is. Thanks,
yeah.
buddy.
But in all seriousness, you're an awesome individual. Like we said, you're definitely very driven and motivated to become a firefighter and also to be a good firefighter. And we love seeing that. We think you're going to do really good, and we're really happy that you've picked us to be on your side through this journey.
Totally. And I've seen like the edited version of this and it's, 100 times better. So just keep doing what you're doing. It's that mentality that you were talking about before, Downward, right? If you come back stronger, if you just keep improving, you're going to do really well. So just always keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, right on, guys. That's this episode. If if you guys are interested in any of our deep dives and some of our fireside chats and stuff like that, please sign up for our Patreon. It really helps us out with paying Francesco, getting better audio visual equipment, and all that kind of stuff, so we can just bring a better product to you listeners.
So we have just created our Patreon program and it's online. We'll put a link in the description of this episode. It's got all our freebies on there. So it's got resume templates, the interview checklist,
the competitive edge checklist.
Yeah, competitive edge checklist.
And we're also going to be diving into more in-depth interview episodes and hiring process stuff. And we're going to be posting it on there. It really does help us out because then we're able to pay Francesco for producing this podcast. If it wasn't for him, we'd be hooped.
You guys missed the part where we were just trying to turn this microphone on before this episode.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we wouldn't be anywhere without him. So we'd like to start paying him a lot more.
And it's also going to be a way for us to just upgrade to better audio equipment, better cameras, better lighting, and all that kind of stuff to bring you guys a better experience with this podcast.
Yeah, and that was your idea actually, Dan, with the whole going over every interview question kind of in depth and
yeah,
and really getting into the interview panel stuff.
Yeah, we'll be going into that in really great detail, really breaking apart the questions and just talking about like what they're actually asking in these questions, right? And yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of info, a lot of really, really good info.
And if it's not, let us know. We also have a chat group in there as well on Patreon.
That's right.
So if there's, guests you want us to see, bring on, or if there's questions you want us to ask or talk about on the podcast, you're more than welcome to ask us on there.
Yeah, for sure. And like when it comes to those behavioral / situational type questions, we can break down a question and talk about it for probably half an hour.
Yeah.
Right. Just one question.
Easily.
So there's going to be a lot of really good info on that. And like we said, it's going to really help support the podcast so we can upgrade better equipment and also keep Francesco around so that way there is a podcast.
Chaining him down to the table would be too cruel.
Yeah. Right on. So, yeah. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.